also, so Mr. Hall, we are happy to have you as well, joining us on the call. We also have, and I don't know if his camera is working or not, but we have Mr. Lenny Cooksey, who has joined us as of this week as our new Chief Operating Officer. And so he will probably make an appearance on camera very soon, but there is a black box there with the word Lenny on it. And so he has now joined us as the Chief Operating Officer. And so we'll work through those technical difficulties as well. And then another black box that I see on the screen is Miss Nikki Frenney, and she is actually going to be joining our CAT team as the Chief Communication Officer. I was going to say Ms. Frenney also brings with her a wealth of experience. As well in communications. I'm not going to focus too heavily on her. Her official start date as an employee will be November the 2nd. But I do in turn want to focus on Mr. Cooksey. I was trying to give him an opportunity to come on camera before I started going into this. Okay, are you there, Mr. Cooksey?
I am. We're just working on our little technical difficulty, but I am here. So
okay, well, very good.
Well, my beautiful face and everything, but we're gonna work on that.
Okay. Well, Mr. Cooksey joins us most recently from Baton Rouge, as well as from Jacksonville, and he has extensive experience in paratransit operations as well as fixed route operations. He has worked his way up from being an operator all the way up to being in senior leadership in transit. And so we are very, very fortunate and excited to have him as a part of our team. And so unfortunately, he is having technical difficulties. I was going to give him an opportunity to say a couple of words, but we will go back to him hopefully later on the agenda as we can get his technical difficulties ironed out.
All right, I don't have an agenda in front of me, so can somebody read the agenda items, and then I'll take over once I get back to the office.
Okay, if you want to buy some additional time, Commissioner Jones, would you like Mr. Cooksey to introduce himself since he's now on camera?
I would like all the individuals who are newly hired to introduce themselves, but that's fine.
Okay. All right. Is it okay for them to go ahead and do that now, and that'll buy you a little bit more time?
Yes, ma'am. That works.
All right. Sounds great. Well, let's have Mr. Hall go first, and then Mr. Cooksey.
Okay. I'm Charles Hall by now. I think everybody's heard of me except for the board members. As you eloquently stated, I have come from SCAD. I've had over 27 years of law enforcement experience. During that tenure, I've had extensive experience in emergency management, security, as well as safety in various capacities that I've served. In addition to that, I've also taught either business, leadership, criminal justice, homeland security, and security studies at 4 universities here regionally. So I've kept my finger on the pulse of security and safety from different platforms. And I'm glad to bring that experience and education to CAT.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Hall. Mr. Cooksey.
Yes. Yeah. So thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I have a plethora of experience. Most recently, I was at MV in Baton Rouge. So, quite an experience, learned a lot there, especially navigating through COVID, which we find, very challenging, and, just having to be flexible in doing so. Prior to that, I was in Jacksonville as a director of fixed route. We had roughly about 400 operators. So that was a full-time, that was 7-day-a-week operation. So also part of that, it was also part of the paratransit there as well. So that constantly you learn a lot of things. I kind of worked my way up in Jacksonville. I started there as a service delivery manager with our focus on-time performance and other things. So we were able to reach those goals. So I like to feel I have a good beat on how to increase performance, both in the customer area as well as safety, in addition to on-time performance. And I started out as a bus driver in mass transit. I drove for Lynx in Orlando. So I like to think I was a pretty good driver. I had 5 consecutive years without an accident. So very proud of that. Participated in the rodeo, was a road supervisor, control center. So I like to feel I've had a world of experience. And then I had some private transportation experience before that in the healthcare industry, running medical transportation. So I'm pretty well skilled. I'm very excited to be here. I met a lot of great people here so far, and I look forward to us doing some great things. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Cooksey. And with Mr. Cooksey's arrival, I'd like to also just take a moment and recognize Enoch Dumas. Enoch Dumas graciously and with great capability held down the fort in that COO role as we were searching for the perfect candidate to fill that position. Always maintaining that he did not necessarily want to go into that COO role. He pledged from the very beginning to be supportive, to be efficient, to be effective, and to allow me to get a little sleep at night and not have to be the COO and the CEO at the same time. He did that. He has been my go-to, my lifeline on many days. And I really, really appreciate just personally and professionally what Mr. Dumas brought to the table in that interim COO role. And so I definitely want to publicly express my appreciation to him for all that Mr. Dumas did during that role and what he's meant to this company overall. He has almost 30 years of service to Chatham Area Transit, and that's nothing to sneeze at. And so that's something that we recognize and honor him for. And he has graciously accepted the position of Deputy Chief Operating Officer. We decided that we did not want Mr. Dumas to think he was getting off the hook. He may not be the Chief Operating Officer, but we definitely need to keep that historical perspective close at hand and to keep him around and actively engaged as we work together as a team to move the agency forward. So I just wanted to publicly again express my appreciation to Mr. Dumas for the work that he did in holding down the fort as the interim Chief Operating Officer. Mr. Dumas, do you have a few words to share?
No more than thank you. And I appreciate the opportunity. And again, I don't want to take the time. I'll have to talk again, but I certainly appreciate you, your leadership, what you brought to the organization. I look to continue to glean from you as well as Mr. Cooksey, and I'm here to support you in any and every way I can. So thank you again for the recognition.
Okay. Thank you again, Mr. Dumas. And then, of course, I want to introduce Ms. Nikki Frenney, who is going to officially start on November 1st as the Chief Communication Officer. If you recall from the org chart that I presented last month, we decided to reorient system development and make that a very planning forward division. All of us are running around like chickens with our heads cut off, making sure that we're running the best service possible today. And of course, while we're focused on today, you've got to have somebody focused on tomorrow. And so that's going to be Ms. Patricia Harris-Moorhead's role as she continues to serve as our Chief Strategy Officer. And then, of course, Nikki Frenney is actually going to be over the communications, marketing, public relations, community engagement, and intergovernment relations as well. So, Ms. Frenney, if you want to say a couple of words, talk about your experience and whatnot, we'd appreciate having you give a few words.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, committee chair and board members and my fellow chiefs. I am Nikki Frenney. I have about 20 years of transit experience, both on the public side and on the private side. I'm excited to be joining CAT. I have watched Ms. Malden's growth in transit and am very, very proud to be working alongside her and know that She is going to bring some exciting things to CAT. I'm looking forward to getting into the community and getting CAT in the community with the team that we have here. I think we will elevate the status of our transit agency, as well as bring further awareness to why public transit is so important to a local community. So again, I have 20 years of transit experience. I'm a former news reporter. I'm also a former public information officer for the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. So I do have a lot of experience that I'm looking forward to sharing here in Chatham County. So thank you, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Freni, for that. I know I mentioned Ms. Harris Moorhead. I don't know if she's here, but she may not want to get on camera. But Ms. Harris Moorhead, if you have a couple of words to say, to share about your new role, we would love to have you give a few remarks as well.
Thank you, Mrs. Malden. I do appreciate the opportunity to just focus on planning, strategic planning for our agency. And I am looking forward to working with you and this wonderful team that you have assembled to move CAT into the future. So thank you so much, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Committee Chair, Mr. Commissioner, and to all of the board members, this rounds out the executive leadership team. That was actually an agenda item that was later on the agenda, so I think we've knocked one of them out for you, Commissioner Jones. But this is the leadership team. We are all committed to moving CAT forward. We still have one executive leadership role that we have not filled, which is the Chief Financial Officer. We are, I guess, narrowing down on that one candidate and working everything out as far as that is concerned. And so we will more than likely have an announcement with regard to our Chief Financial Officer, if not by the board meeting, definitely by the committee meetings in November as well. But it is our goal to close out the recruitment of the executive leadership team. I think it's very important to have capable and qualified individuals in all of these roles. You all made it very clear to me when I was hired and when I started, believe it or not, I'm right over 100 days now as the CEO. You all made it very clear to me that you all wanted capable and competent leadership and that you wanted the organization to go in a new direction. And so these are the folks that we've recruited to help move the agency forward in the manner that you all have set out through your strategic planning. So we thank you for the opportunity to serve as leadership in this organization and to serve the great Chatham County community. And so with that, I will turn it back over to Commissioner Jones, unless you would have me go in a different direction.
Yes, ma'am. If you just go ahead into the agenda, like I said, I'm working through, I'm listening. Just go ahead into the first item on the agenda.
Okay. The first item, do you want to at least officially call the meeting to order? You do have committee members on.
Okay.
So you have Chairman Cody is on the line, as well as Commissioner Stone are both present. So.
And then I saw Dietrich's on the line as well.
Yes.
Yes, call the meeting officially to order. Those items are on the agenda, so now we got to restate them. So just go ahead, we call the meeting to order and go ahead with the item.
All right, so the next item on the agenda is the committee presentation, which are the service changes, and those will be presented by Mr. Enoch Dumas.
What did you pass?
Okay, so you hopefully you're able to see the screen now that I'm sharing. And so our service change, proposed service fall change for 2020, which will go into effect in November. The presentation I have here is basically just an update from last month PowerPoint presentation. So our service optimization is what we're looking at covering. And so we plan to reduce service to optimize holiday schedule, which will be basically our weekday and Saturday services, but we're reducing service and adding service where needed. So the schedules will include 11 Candler, 20 Skidaway Idaho Coffee Bluff, which do not typically run on holidays. To help with social distancing during peak hours, we are adding additional buses on routes 10 East Savannah, the 14 Abercorn, and 17 Silk Hope. We will continue to monitor all of our routes, adding additional buses when needed, and our service will continue to end at 10 p.m. The current fixed routes daily service revenue cost, we recalculated this on what will be now our new hourly rate, which is around $120, $122 per hour based on information that we've collected to get a more realistic service cost per hour to do the service that we do, provide the service that we do. So our revenue hours, weekday and Saturday and Sunday are listed. Sunday, we will not run service, but this is primarily to show you what we would have done on Sunday, which will be a reduction. So we will only run service on weekday and Saturdays. The reduction of our peak service vehicles will not be affected that much. We're going from 36 vehicles to 34 vehicles. But it will reduce our revenue core hours by 1,235 hours, which is a 10.7% reduction. The cost that for every 30 days will be reduced by $138,000. And of course, the Sunday service will temporarily be suspended for cleaning, as well as we will discontinue the 100X airport for now. The proposed frequency is listed here, where most of the routes will still have 30 minutes to 60-minute frequency. On the Abercorn, of course, and the ones with the peak service, you'll get more frequency, 15 minutes on Abercorn during peak time, and 30 minutes on some of the other routes that were more challenging. Some of the routes will have a longer wait time, but it's because we will be adding those services like 27, Route 27 and 28. You'll get 3 buses running up and down Waters Avenue as opposed to 4 buses. Route 25 will have a difference. It used to have, currently now it has 15-minute peak time. It will be 30 minutes peak time. We will still be able to provide the coverage in that area, but the peak time buses will not run because we were doing a lot of duplication currently that we're doing now. The main goal, again, we will continue to monitor our service in the event that we have overcrowding, and we will add additional buses as necessary. And that ends my presentation at this time. I'll turn it back over to you, Ms. Malden.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions about the proposed service changes that have been presented?
I do.
Okay, Commissioner Stone.
Okay, thank you. Have you heard from anyone about any concerns with eliminating the Sunday service?
I have not heard any concerns as of yet. We are putting together, though, through our community engagement, a pastoral council. Right now, a lot of the churches are not having service. And
right.
So we are seeking to put together a pastoral council that will allow us to continue to have a pulse on what's going on with the churches. However, one of the things I want to mention, and what I've told a lot of people in the community, in addition to being a cost savings, we think that it would be very good for us to use Sunday as a reset day. You know, we're looking at possibly going into a fall surge with COVID, and we want to make sure that we are rising to the occasion when it comes to ensuring that our buses are being thoroughly cleaned and sanitized. And so we're utilizing Sunday as one of our lowest ridership days. It is our lowest ridership day during the week. And so we're utilizing that day to really, really make sure that we're deep cleaning and sanitizing our buses as well. And so that's actually been met with a great sense of relief from the community, because there are always questions about how we're maintaining our fleet. What are we doing to ensure that customers are safe?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions about the service changes? We will be presenting this information as well during a community meeting that's coming up on tomorrow evening as well. And then we'll, of course, we'll continue to discuss these changes even on into our board meeting. So the information is available on our website. If anyone has any concerns, they can definitely contact our customer advocates. We're definitely here to make sure that we are here for the community and helping them with their trip planning as we all make adjustments as a result of the reduced service levels. All right, if there aren't any additional questions, Commissioner Jones, would you like for me to continue? Did he fall off? Is he there?
And my apologies for not acknowledging our chair members and CAT board members. Forgive me for not recognizing you, but I do honor your presence today.
All right, well, with that being said, I'm gonna ask if Miss Brenda Dice, our grant administrator, who is so capably also serving double duty, she's kind of holding it down for planning as well, as she does have an extensive background in planning. So I'm gonna ask her to provide the committee with an update with regard to FedEx. We were contacted by them with a request for a bus stop. And so Brian is going to provide us with that information.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Bacara and Ms. Malden and Chairman Jones. I'm excited to report that we are scoring by caring for and engaging our customers and our community. We've been contacted by FedEx, as Ms. Malden said, and so we've decided to, with our new service update, run a pilot route extension into the industrial park on Morgan Lakes Industrial Boulevard. This location is off Jimmy DeLoach Parkway, and it was recently annexed into the city of Savannah and thus into CAT's transit district. We were excited to hear about that annexation, and so was FedEx. So we've been chatting with them, and this pilot will be an extension of the 3 West Chatham route. It is not much of an extension, but it will make a little extra jog down Jimmy DeLoach and into the industrial park, where there are multiple other industries located at that park beyond FedEx, which we're hoping to connect with in this pilot program. It's a busy time of year for FedEx, and their employees and recruiters have been asking for a bus route. So we really felt like this was the perfect time as we're going into the Christmas season to connect with them, to help them out by giving them this pilot program and helping us to determine if it's going to work as a permanent part of our route. Hopefully it is. So we'll be starting that with the November 2nd service change, and I will take any questions about that. Okay.
The floor is open to any questions.
Jay, we can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Do y'all hear me now? The floor is open for any questions. If none, then we can move to the next item.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Jones, I believe that is me again. So the next agenda item is budget planning, the FY 2021 budget amendment update. As you all are well aware, the letter S in SCORE stands for stabilizing and strengthening our finances. And we plan to continue to do that by presenting to you a balanced amended budget. In June, the board of directors passed, right before my official arrival, a budget of more than $27 million. Due to COVID-19, decisions made here in the agency about the agency's response to COVID-19 and the tax receipts from here in Chatham County, they've all had a great impact on our bottom line. An internal leadership team of professionals from throughout this agency, from various departments, with various disciplines, have all worked together since August to recreate our budget and get to the bottom of the source of the numbers. For that reason, we are pleased to present an amended budget that will be around $24.4 million. We are finalizing that amended budget document, and it is my plan to actually hand deliver a working draft of that document to all of you, so that you can have it for review. You will get notice of a budget workshop. I don't have those dates right in front of me, and I apologize, but there is a budget workshop that is planned for the board to be able to weigh in and ask questions. But we're very excited to present this information to you. Of note, we are actually doing the amended budget in the form of a proper budget book. And so again, we are pleased to present that to you. A lot of hard work has gone into that. Because of the hard work that took place, we've learned some things. We felt it was very important that everyone be aware of what our cost ratios are with regard to the modes of service that we provide. It's very hard to manage expenses if you aren't aware of how much it costs to run your service in the first place. And so one of the things that we have learned is that our fixed route service, the fully allocated cost, is around $120 per service hour. Our paratransit fully allocated cost is around $85 an hour. And our ferry service is around $255 per service hour. So again, it's very important. We felt like it was important that you all know this information. We have also given this information to the employees because we don't believe that the cost of running this organization should be a secret. We think that everyone in the entire organization should be aware of how much it costs, because everyone in the organization has the ability to impact that number positively and negatively. So again, be on the lookout for your hand-delivered draft budget book, as well as for a notice of dates for the budget workshops and public hearings regarding the amended budget. I'll entertain any questions that you all may have in the interim, although I know that you don't have the document in front of you, but again, we will get that to you on Friday.
All right, do we have any questions in reference to the budget? All right, good to hear. Let's move to the next item, please.
All right, we're moving into the proposed agenda items for our board meeting, which is on October 27th. And so items A and B are the extension of COVID-19 emergency measures. And B, of course, is the extension of CEO measures authority, and which are just the same standard items that we have had every month during COVID, which allows us the opportunity to do things that we deem necessary in emergency cases to help us combat the COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay. Thank you. Those are the same items we ratify every month in,
Yes.
right? All
Yes.
right. So what I encourage everybody who's new to Chatham Area Transit to read through those items. They have been reoccurring since March. So let's make sure we understand what those items are, and go ahead. You can go ahead and move to the next items.
Okay, item C is the American Public Transportation Association membership renewal for FY 2020. And that's just that is a motion authorizing me to, I guess, issue payment for our dues in APTA. I always say that you would never encourage a doctor not to be a part of the medical association. You would never encourage a lawyer to not be a part of the bar association. And the same thing applies to a transit agency with regard to the American Public Transit Association. So our membership is very important, and I hope that you all will continue to be supportive of our membership in this organization. We have received a lot of information, in particular during our COVID response, that we might not have ordinarily had we not been a part of this powerful association. And so this is just a request to renew our membership.
Are there any questions or in readiness to these items, for this item? All right, thank you, Ms. Molden. You can go ahead and move to the next item for me, please.
Okay, I'm going to turn it over to David Stearns. The next, I think, 3 or 4 items are various policies. As you know, we've been going every month bringing new policies. They're not all brand new policies. They're just policies that we're taking a new look at them, blowing the dust off of them, refreshing, and just having the board. We're going to have the board ratify our policies on an annual basis. And so I'm going to turn this over to David Stearns at this time.
Thank you, Ms. Molden. So the first policy, we're actually calling it the Harassment, Discrimination, and Retaliation Prevention Policy. It kind of actually combines a number of our policies into one, with the goal of stating and preventing harassment, discrimination, and retaliation. So that policy, along with the changes, side-by-side comparison, will be provided to you soon. The next policy that we'd be looking at is the Americans with Disability Act policy. This policy, of course, just identifies CAT's requirements under the Americans with Disability Act. That is just an update to their current policy. And I believe there really wasn't much update that needed to occur to that one. The next one is the records management policy. So we're attempting to really kind of nail down our records retention requirements. And so basically we'll be following the state schedule, which of course is a little more complicated than you think, but based on the record that you have, you can determine how long you have to keep it. This policy is, I think, important to have because we're basically, we've never thrown anything out around here. So we have a ton of storage issues starting to develop. So the records management policy will help us deal with that. FMLA is just a review of our current FMLA policy. And then the progressive discipline policy is also a revision to our current progressive discipline policy. So all those policies, you'll receive the proposed new policy in comparison to the old one in that same format that shows you what changes were made. And those will be made available to you soon. And that is it for my policies.
All right, are there any questions from any board members? Commissioner Stone, you have any questions?
I do not.
Okay. Chairman Cody, do you have anything to add?
No, I don't have anything at this time.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Stone. All right, so with that being said, I just want to make sure reminder we want to keep our normal procedures as far as making sure we email all this stuff out to everybody. So if we have any questions, because these items will be on a consent agenda. So it can be done, ratified, and approved through a consent agenda. So David, let's make sure we get all these items to all board members if we possibly can. Are there any other items? Thank you, sir. Are there any other items that we need to discuss, Ms. Molden?
Yes. The next 2 items, and we apologize, we've been very, very busy over here at within the agency. So our agenda items are a little long, but the next 2 items, one is the Transit Oriented Development Pilot Program Grant Application Submission. and the COVID-19 Research Demonstration Program grant submission. These are 2 grant applications that we are looking to submit. As you all know, I have an extensive background with grants, and we have recently promoted Ms. Bryn Dice into the grant administrator's role. And so we are looking to really kick our grant program, take that to a higher level. And so we have 2 opportunities to apply for programs. On the Transit-Oriented Development Pilot Program grant application, we're looking at 2 different programs, and we are honing in on which one that we're looking to apply. One, of course, would be at the riverfront on the eastern, that Eastern Wharf expansion. We're looking at the feasibility of adding a dock to that program that would attach to an intermodal that would potentially have a bus stop, bike share, and dock. We're looking at that, as well as I've also received a bit of a nudge to look at the possibility of BRT in place of the Abercorn 14. So that was another planning request that also came in. So we're looking at those in terms of making a decision. We're bringing this to you now because—
Ms. Molden,
Yes.
Can you go ahead and clarify what a BRT is?
Bus rapid transit, which would basically be one step shy of light rail. Imagine a light rail without all of the electricity and fixings. That would basically turn the Abercorn 14 into what would be an express route. Well, a step up from an express route, really with higher frequency, hopefully larger capacity with articulated buses and the like. So that was another request that I received from the MPC to also look at. So we've talked with the city. Actually, someone from the county sent both of these applications to me, as well as we've been in touch with the MPC. So there's a lot of energy around us submitting these grant applications. And so we're just excited about the opportunity.
All right. Is that the end of that?
That is the end of that. And with regard to the COVID-19, we're looking to submit an application that includes ticketless, contactless fares and possibly temperature stations on our paratransit vehicles. So the COVID-19 application will center around what we're doing to keep our most vulnerable population safe during COVID. And so one other thing, those applications are respectively due October 26th and November 2nd. So the timeline on those applications is very, very short, which was why we wanted to go ahead and put them on your radar.
All right. Are there any questions from any of the committee members? All right. See the shake a head of one. And you got anything, Chairman Cody?
No.
Okay. All right. So with that being said, are we on to old business?
No.
Old business, new business?
No, we are not.
Okay. What other items do we have?
All right. So the other item is the budget amendment adoption calendar. Beverly, if you could put that slide up. I didn't have it available during my early section, but if you will put it up. If you'll go to the next slide, we talked about the fact that I'll be delivering a hard copy of the draft of the budget to all of the board members by Friday of this week. And again, this will be the draft, but there is a budget amendment calendar. As you can see, we finalized the internal budget on October 12th, 5 p.m. That was yesterday, so it was finalized. By October 16th, which was Friday, we will have the finalized draft to the board of directors for review and input. Now, we have tentatively scheduled a budget workshop on November 3rd, but I'm thinking that's election day, so we may need to go with a different day. So we'll send out a notice to all of the board to see if you want to move forward with November 3rd, if you want to schedule it for a different day. But either way, we are committed to making sure that we have this board budget workshop before the board goes before you for a final vote. Incidentally, yes.
Ms. Mullen, I'm probably gonna make the suggestion because the chair's on here, and I know at least one board member is in the race on that day, that we move it to Thursday, November the 5th. That'll give us an opportunity where and if you make that conversation with the rest of the board members, I think that'll make latitude for all of us where we don't have, because we're going to eventually have to move it. So I'll move it to November the 5th.
Okay, so we will plan to have the budget workshop on Thursday, November the 5th. We're looking at having our first reading and public meeting, community meeting on November 11th at 5:30. And then the second reading and the board approval of the budget would be on November 17th at the November board meeting. So that is our calendar for how we want to go about going through the budget amendment. And again, really, really proud of the team for everything that they've done to get us to this point. Very, very proud of the fact that in spite of the restructure, we are still $3 million under what the board originally passed in June. So that concludes that item, Mr. Chairman.
And that $3 million you said that we're under as far as budget concerned, that's what carrying all the new changes that you've made to Chatham Area Transit, right?
Yes, sir, that is.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from either committee member? All right, without any questions, can we move to the next item?
All right, diversity and inclusion assessment. Just wanted to give you all a heads up that we will have the consultants at the board meeting that will give you the results of the assessment that took place. If you recall, one of the things that I committed to doing when I came in the door a little over 100 days ago was performing a diversity and inclusion assessment. And so those results are in. And I will be honest, I'm not excited about the results, but knowledge is power. And so I feel like it's very important that you all know where we stand so that we know where we have to go to get better. And so looking forward to having you all hear that information. And then the last item is just the service changes. And that's it for the proposed agenda items.
All right. So once again, let's make sure that these proposed agenda items are sent out to all board members like we have been doing the last couple of months so we can vote as a consensus agenda. If anything needs to be pulled off, it doesn't mean we need not be ready. So let's make sure we're ready for anything that needs to be pulled off of that consent agenda. In reference to, well, do we have anything in new business or old business?
One other thing, in introducing all of the chiefs, she's going to kill me, but I did not reference Beverly Dumas as the chief of staff. That's actually a promotion that I think we talked about a little bit last month, but I just officially wanted to introduce her to you as the chief of staff. In her duty, she will continue to be the liaison between the board and the agency and handle all the things that you all have grown to depend on her for handling, and she does that so well. So just since that was a new position as well, I just wanted to bring that up as we talk about the chief structure. And that's all I have to add.
And I do want to bring up a point of conversation that I heard out, and I know we have not discussed when we say we're going to move forward, but the Let's Go campaign that was going on last year, I was told that it's already in motion. And so I just want to clarify, is that true? Is that not true?
It is not in motion per se. That is actually one of the priorities of the chief strategy officer to blow the dust off of that study. We believe a lot of taxpayer money went into it. And so it's very important that we utilize as much of that study as we can, understanding that the world is a completely different place from the way that it was back when that study was done. The world is different from where it was in February of this year. So keeping that in mind, we want to use as much of that as we can and leverage that and jumpstart us into getting into the next phase of Let's Go. So I don't know, maybe we'll call it Let's Go Again or Let's Go Forward. How about that? So
That works for me. I just want to make sure I got clarity out there because I heard that it's already moving and I don't remember when we even brought it forward to be moving forward. So, and I have no problem of it moving. I just want to make sure it doesn't move until we as a board say it moves.
absolutely.
That's all I had. Commissioner Stone, did you have anything to add to the conversation?
I do not.
Okay. Cody, did you have anything to add?
I don't. I think we covered it.
All right. Once again,
Commissioner Jones,
yes, ma'am.
one more
Yes,
thing.
ma'am.
I'm sorry. I do want to mention that we are speaking at the council meeting in Garden City on Monday. Any board members who would like to join us are welcome to be there on Monday at 6:30 at the Garden City Hall.
All right. I will restate it for Ms. Malden one more time. Is there anything else we need to talk about?
I'm done.
I'm doing that with love, Ms. Malden, but I like to close us out. That's why I'm doing that. All right. I apologize once again, people, for my technology issues. My son has my Mac, and so I'm doing this from my phone, which is at 8%, and that's the only reason why I'm trying to move us out of here in this window. I will see everybody at the governance meeting next week. If there's anything else out there, I call for the meeting to be adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.